To another controversial story that we are tracking at this hour as far as the Agniveer mention is concerned, and we saw as to how there has been TMC that is now up in arms, where the BJP has now slammed such disgusting politics. They are now stating how TMC has raised this issue and tried to compare Shinzo Abe's death and assassination that happened unfortunately yesterday to the Agniveers, because remember, the man who in question who actually shot at was also a personnel who used to work in the maritime for Japan, and the BJP has now slammed such disgusting politics on behalf of the TMC.
But even when we are overwhelmed with sadness and we are overcome with grief, this is the occasion on which the Congress party chooses to do politics on a leader whose entire loss is being mourned by the entire world. The Congress party's official spokesperson Surendra Rajput has put out a disgusting tweet. It crosses all levels of morality and propriety. It talks about how the motive behind the murder and the brutal killing of Shinzo Abe is perhaps a disgruntled person from the armed forces, linking it to the situation in India. The Congress party loses no occasion to politicize every matter of national interest for partisan political interest.
All right, my colleague Sharon also joins us on this broadcast. So Sharon, a day after Shinzo Abe's assassination has certainly sent shockwaves around the globe, but the opposition in India sees this as an opportunity to hit out at the centre, and the TMC through their mouthpiece has left no stones unturned to really draw parallels between Shinzo Abe's killing and India's Agnipath scheme.
Well, that is right, and in fact, after Congress, now TMC also, in fact, correlating the incident where Shinzo Abe was in fact killed, saying that this has happened because of a similar Agnipath scheme that was in fact established in Japan, and that is why the killing has happened. Now, we have seen yesterday not just Surendra Rajput, who is in fact the official spokesperson, we have seen Udit Raj also tweeting in favor of what Surendra Rajput has been saying. He has in fact tweeted that the person who has killed the former Prime Minister of Japan is an Agniveer. He is someone who was suffering because of the similar kind of scheme. Now, the accused here, the person who, the shooter that we are talking about here, was in fact recruited in Japan's self-defense force, and that is why the opposition leaders have been drawing a parallel of both the schemes and saying that a similar incident could in fact, this is nothing but a warning that the opposition leaders are in fact giving to the BJP. But the BJP has clearly hit out at both the TMC and the Congress, saying that it is very petty of the opposition party to actually play petty politics on the killing of a former Prime Minister.
All right, stay with us, Sharon. Shehzad Poonawalla also joins us on this broadcast. And Shehzad, we're seeing such petty politics being played, and this time the TMC mouthpiece reminding that the killer of Shinzo Abe was out of service in 3 years and was without pension, and trying to draw those parallels between the two ends.
There are three elements to this. One, it's disgusting to do politics on something as tragic as the loss of Shinzo Abe, whose death we are mourning as national mourning. Point number two, this is the Trinamool Congress and the Congress party, which, like Global Times, is trying to spin a narrative when the Japanese have not even come to a conclusion. So why are they in such haste along with Global Times to spin a narrative? We know Congress has a MOU, but what is the reason for TMC? And thirdly, isn't this inciting the Agniveers? Isn't this denigrating the Indian Armed Forces to suggest that the Agniveers would also do something like this, or inciting them to do something like this? Just like Bhupesh Baghel linked them to Naxal. So these three elements show the mindset of TMC and the Congress, who choose every occasion of national importance and interest to politicize for partisan gain. They politicized vaccines, they politicized COVID, surgical strike, Balakot airstrike, Pulwama. There has to be a limit to this. This crosses all limits of morality.
All right, thank you, Shehzad, for that. Even as there have been questions raised against the opposition leaders in India, who are now possibly seeing this as an opportunity to hit out at the centre. This is TMC's mouthpiece left. No stone unturned. Tamal also joins us on this broadcast. So, Tamal, what's the TMC really trying to draw out here, trying to compare Shinzo Abe's killing to India's Agnipath scheme?
Well, Trinamool Congress on the front page of their Bangla, the top story with the header, Agnipath shadow over Shinzo Abe's death, clearly suggesting that the person who had assassinated the former Japanese Prime Minister, who on record, as per the Japanese media reports, had been in the service for 3 years, had been part of Japan's maritime self-defense service for 3 years. And according to Japanese media reports, he was unemployed without any pension. So in a way, Trinamool Congress is trying to remind that if there is a similar fate awaiting the Agnipath and Agniveer, minded Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee have demanded that Agnipath scheme could be appreciated. If people joining Agnipath scheme, their tenure has been increased from 4 years to 60, 65 years, and that no one should be left jobless after 4 years. Trinamool Congress had also suggested that people who come out of Agnipath after arms training, and if they are jobless, it will simply not add to unemployment. But through this mouthpiece, we're also trying to suggest that somebody unemployed after arms training and without any pension could also be susceptible to crimes, and such crimes will not be conducive for a healthy society.